Follow the channel and stay tuned for learning videos.
In the last session, we have seen what is Azure Repos, right? So today we are going to see what are repositories. So when we talk about repositories in Azure DevOps, basically this will be used for storing the source code. So whenever you are working for any Dynamics project or non-Dynamics project, you will have the source code, right? It could be .NET class libraries, it could be app services project, or it could be console applications, whatever. So whenever we are dealing with code, we have to retain in some store, right? We have to keep them in some common place where everyone can access, everyone can get the latest code. So it will be, instead of, we shouldn't keep in our local developers machines, right? So we should keep it in the somewhere. So for that purpose, we will have the repositories. So this is kind of a central place where all developers will maintain their code changes, everything. Okay. Now, if you see here, if you, on the Azure Repos, you have these files, you have commits, and you have the pushes, you have branches, you have tags, you have pull requests. So when we talk about the source codes, usually this source code may available in the developer laptop, developer machine, or we will be starting from the this one. Suppose if you see in this right now, if you see this repository, we have D365 CRM repository, which is already there. If you want to create a new repository, we can create it from here. For that, you should have a proper permissions. Okay. So to suppose in the, if you see here, I have some repository. Here I have Azure Pipelines YAML file is there. Now in the same, for the same repository, I want to add some class library project, plugin class library. So for that purpose, what I have to do, I want to do the development in my Visual Studio, right? For the CRM related, .NET related changes, we will be using the Visual Studio IDE, right? So to have this online repository to my local, I have to clone it. So to clone the repository, if you see, whenever you click on any repository, you will be having this kind of option, clone. So here it will ask what is the IDE. So as we are using Visual Studio, we have to choose Visual Studio here. So here you will be choosing it. So it will be open in the my local. So it will be open a new instance of Visual Studio. You see, it is asking to connect. So I have to use my account, the trial account, whatever I have for my repo, everything. I have to sign into that one. In general, we will be use the Office login because we will be working with purely with Office logins, right? So 1 second, let me check that. Dell CRM on Microsoft only, not online. So I have to give the password for my account. So it will ask the authentication like normal on Microsoft logins. You have to give it. So once you did this, what is the your local Visual Studio? If you see, this one is connected to my account. If you see here, we are getting level LT admin sign in. So as we are cloning here, it will ask the repo cloning. Let it. You see, this is asking where you have to install the download your Azure repository. This is the clone from remote path. Where do you want to keep it in your local? So this is my local. By default, you will have source repos for every IDE. If you install Visual Studio IDE, you will have this path default. So this is my current repository. So I'm just cloning it. So once you clone it, what will happen? The entire code, whatever it's there in the Azure DevOps, here, that will be available to my local machine. So you can make your changes, you can validate your changes, you can test your changes. Once everything is good, you will be pushing back to Azure DevOps so that everyone will be make use of that code. So like that we will follow. So first we will clone the repo from the Azure DevOps. Then you will make the changes in your local IDE. Then you will be pushed back to your changes. Okay. Now if you see, whenever you clone your repo to local, let me again. So it will ask for the branch, which branch you have to use. Okay. Okay. And now it is cloning. So whenever you clone your repo, Azure repo to your local, if you see here, it is in the below. If you see here it is showing the what is the branch you are connected to and what is the repository you are into. Okay, right now I have only one active repository for my local. So it is showing one active repository. And this is the one branch only have. But in general, we don't check in the code changes to main. So we will be creating our own user branches and we will be checking the, if you see here you have user settlement test branch. So like that you will be creating different user branch based upon the feature number or like sprint number. So you will be creating. So this is my alias. So I'm using the same alias for the creating branch. Now I want to have like demo. So here I'm based upon what branch you want to copy, you want to create a copy. So if you see here I have given user slash LT demo. I want to take it from main. So now you just created it. So the new branch is created. Now what I want to do, so if you see here it is right now I have only main branch, but I want to get the my own newly created branch. So whenever you want to get the newly created branch anything, you have to do the push pull. Okay. So if you do like that, it will get the latest sync from the Azure DevOps. So right now, if you see here left hand side, you have only earlier it was LT admin. Now when I did the sync, it refreshed from the recent created branch as well. So now I'm switching to my main branch. Main branch is my user branch. So now if you see, now I have the LT admin demo. So what I want to do, this is my main branch code. On top of this, I want to build something. I want to create something. So in that scenarios, you will be making changes on top of these files. You will be checking it, right? So for current hour scenario, let me add one solution. I wanted a new project. So that is, let's assume we are creating some class library for plugins. Let's create a class library. So for creating class library, we have to choose the language, what language you are going to use. I'm using C#. And this is, you can keep all platforms and project types. Library, do we have library? If you don't, also you can find it from here. Class library .NET, a project for creating class library that targets .NET standard. So when you click on, it will ask the name. Here plugins. So in this only, I want to have the entire my code base for plugins. So here you want to choose the framework. What framework you want to choose? You can be choosing anything. Okay. So I'm just creating pseudo libraries, everything. Don't stick to any network framework or anything. So once I did what will happen, this will create a, sorry. What will happen once I did this will create a new project here. 𝐷365 plugins. So it will have the class files, it will have the CS project, everything, whatever you. So for my thing, whatever do, so I want to have some dummy class. I want to make some change like this is like case plugin base class. So here I can have whatever the pseudocode. Okay. I'm not giving anything right now. So just I want to make sure having this case plugin class, the same class also. Here I'm changing it. Now if you see, now I just created a new library to this my solution. Now I did some changes. So whenever you do this make changes, if you see here, the changes are appearing here. So you have modified the file, these are things. But if you see you have some dirty changes also, you don't need to check in them. So what are the main changes? I modified this plugins, debug, everything, right? So I want to check in the main CS project and these files. Okay, so whenever you are working with any .NET projects, anything, you shouldn't check in the debug release files. So you have to check in only this class CS files and CS project. So right now, if you see here in the DevOps, if you go to my branch, what are the files we have? We have only other pipelines readmd. Now what I created a new Dynamics CRM plugin class library project. Now I want to push that one, right? So you have to choose, you have to select this one, you have to click on stage. So basically, why do we use stage? Whenever you have too many changes, if you want to push only particular changes, you will be using the staging concept. So here, if you see, you have 23 other files also modified, but I don't want to check in them. So what I did, I will just check in my only the newly created solution file and plugin base and CS project. So like case plugin skeleton base. So now I just created this. Now I want to sync this to Azure DevOps, right? So for that purpose, you have to do the commit stage and sync. So what will happen? Whatever the changes you have in the local, it will push to Azure DevOps. Now if you see, it is doing the initiating push. Again, it will do the pull successfully synchronized income to outcome. Now if you go back to here, if you refresh this branch, here you will be having the plugin project. Now you will have the code plugin. So I just created the skeleton base quiz plugin. So we have some other user, so they want to work on the more, they want to create work on the more. Okay, so for that purpose, let's take one more user here, one more user bench here. Let's create one more user bench. So let's take plugin. So for me, for the first one I have created case plugin. Now I'm creating the case plugin. It could be anything, name you can give anything. Now what I want to do, I want to use the demo, these branch changes, whatever he pushed, he admin created the base. On top of base, I want to make the changes. So now this time you shouldn't choose main, you have to choose the this demo one. Then only you will get the his changes. If you keep main doesn't have any changes, right? So you won't get it. So you have to choose at the admin demo, click on create. Now a new branch is created. Now if you see here, you will have the okay. Now one moment. Now let me switch back to the branch. So to switch back that branch, by default you won't get that. So again you have to do the sync. So to get the latest branches or to get the latest changes always. So to get the latest changes always, you have to click on manage branches. You have to come here. You have to click on sync. Then only it will get the latest branches from the Azure DevOps. Now if you have Azure Dev one. Now if you see, I just want to switch this. This is my branch. I want to make changes on case plugin on top of his. So I'm just switching it. Now, if you, whenever you're switching, what will happen? You have some changes here, right? So if you want to return, you can return it. Otherwise, you can remove them. Okay. Now, what is my expectation? So here I want to create a plugin. I want to write some more code. So to write some code, let's use some agentic thing. Base. case plugin action 𝐂𝐳𝐮𝐫𝐞. It will give some base plugin. I will do as is copy. So it has given some C# ready to use code. I will be have this in my branch. So let me Control A, Control V. Now it will do. It has a name, plugins, everything. Okay. The namespace, if you want to rename it, you can rename it. Otherwise, you can go as is. Now, what I did, I just did my changes. Now, if you see, whenever you make any changes from to the existing file, you are getting this color kind of changes. If you want, you can change it from here. So these are the file modified. So this debug and release are the dirty files. So we don't need to worry about it. Now, if you see the code plugin base, here you will have the what is the previous version it has and what you have modified. So you can compare before pushing to any changes. What are the changes you made? So if the changes are expected or did you do anything wrong? So like that you can review before pushing it. So you like that you can compare the code changes, whatever it is there already and what you have made. Then if you feel it's good, then you are like you can make it staged. So for that purpose, what I'm doing, so added cases plugin. So you have to add some meaningful comment every time to easy to understand. Case plugin. Now I'm just staging this. Now what I did, so some admin created a branch, base branch. On top of that, I created my own branch. So now both changes are there in the case plugin one. So I want to move the changes to the main branch. So if you see here, we have demo branch, test branch, case plugin, main branch. So this main branch we will be using for all doing the deployments or doing the, it's kind of a master. So the main branch. So you did your changes, you have your changes here in the LUT1 place plugin. Now the changes should be there in the main branch, right? So for that purpose, what we will be using, we will be using the pull request concept. Okay. If you see here, you have the changes, you updated this branch just now, create a pull request. So what will happen whenever you create a pull request, you are moving some files from the source branch to target branch, and this like this you will be configuring. So whatever the files you modified, these will be going to main branch. Now if you see here, let's open main branch once. Right now we don't have any project libraries, anything. We have just other pipelines and buildmd here. Now I want to push. So these are the files I'm pushing the CS project, case plugin CS 𝐷365. Now, so case plugin changes. Added the code base for case plugin. Some meaningful title and description to really identify. Okay. Now coming to on. So if you see, you have reviewers. So in general, what will happen whenever there will be a number of developers for any project? So without the consent of lead or without consent of taker, they shouldn't move their changes to main branch, right? Because main branch is the so entire project they will be releasing everything from main branch. So whatever is there in the main branch, that has to be reviewed properly, that has to be proper approval, right? So like for that purpose, by default for every branch we are creating for main, they will be creating approvals. So let me create this LT admin approval. So what are the work item you have created? So we will be having the, where in the other boards we have created the work items, right? So you will be linking. So this PR is related to that work item, like that you will link it. Okay. When now I'm just creating. So if you want to create as draft, it will do create. You can do that. I'm just creating. So what will happen? This is how it is created. LT admin proposed to merge this branch to into main. So no merge conflicts. So if we have if too many users modified the same files, you will get the merge conflicts. Okay. So right now we don't, as the target doesn't have the case plugin base, you won't get any merge conflict here. Now you are having Dynamics 365 plugins. These are the files which are going to be merged, and description it is there. Now it is, if you see optional here, it is in the review, so you have mandatory like that, right? So if you make mandatory, if you want to complete, set auto complete. So if you do complete also, it's expecting LT admin must approve. So until unless it's required reviewer upload, it won't merge it. Okay. So as I'm the logged in user, it is expecting it's working without completing as well. But in general, it will be a different user, right? So it won't work. It won't complete until the required approver approves it. Okay, now if you do the refresh here for the main branch, you got the changes, whatever the LU1 developer made it. So like this, we will push our changes from local branch to Azure DevOps, from Azure DevOps to main. So this is the general procedure we will follow for pushing our changes made by our local. Okay. And coming to the, so we have too many concepts in the Git while pushing the changes. Okay. Suppose here I'm in, right now I'm in the LUT1 case plugin. I have the case plugin. I modified something. Now let me switch back to demo. In my demo branch, I don't have the changes recently made it from main, right? So I want to get the changes from main. So either you can create a new branch based upon main branch, or you can get the changes from the main branch directly to your local. So how do you get that? So if we have to go to again manage branches. So you need to do a sync to get the latest changes from Azure DevOps for all branches. It is done, successfully synchronizing incoming outgoing comments. Now what I want to do, now I want to fetch the main branch changes. So in that purpose, here it should be the target source, whatever the target branch you want to get the changes, it should be here. And source branch you have to click on here. Now if you see, you have merge origin main into user LTR demo. So what will happen whenever you do like this, whatever the changes made on the Azure origin main, that will come to your branch. If you see here, right now you don't have any code here, but in the main branch you have the plugin base everything. Now I want to get these changes. So what, for that purpose, what we have to do, you have to do a merge, right? So go to manage branches, click on main, origin main into means you are getting the changes from origin main into this one. So whenever you do this one, it will see, do you have any conflict? This merge will change one file, which is nothing but a case plugin base. Remaining all are same, right? So there are no conflicts. So now it is, so repository updated to commit. So what will happen? So if you go back to case plugin CS, you will have the same changes as this one. So like this, you will get the changes from other branches as well. Okay. Now if you see the top arrow, up arrow, it will indicate the what are the incoming commits, outgoing commits you have to for your branch. And this pencil symbol indicates what are the changes you made it for your local, in the local, whatever you can choose whatever the files you want to choose. Okay. Now if you see, if you go further here, whenever you're clicking on manage branches, you could see this info, right? Local history, what happened. So earlier we have cloned it from Azure Dev, the main branch. Then you added the case plug, LUT user added the added course plugin launching. Then again you measured the case plugin changes. So like that, it will have complete information what is happened, everything. Suppose if you want to compare any two commits, so you can choose the commits whatever you want to. So you can do the compare commits. So what happened, what changed exactly in between these two commits? So you can do like this. So you can choose any two commits, and you can, if you click on the compare commits, it will see what is there in the earlier commit and what it is made. So it's not like that only the sequential, you can compare the first and last as well. So if you see, If you compare like this one, so this also you can make it. But if you see here, we don't have the Azure pipeline YAML itself during initial, but alert it is added like that. So you can understand. So what was the changes made in those two commits like that? It will display. It will show the all the files, not a single file, because in the in single commit you can modify multiple files, right? So like that you can compare. So this is about comparing commits, pushing changes, getting the other batch changes. Okay, and let's coming back to the ADO. So I was saying, right, for the pull request, we have to have the reviewers. We have to control the reviewers. That will be come under the project settings. So if you go to project settings, so if you come to repositories, you will have the information who can access the repository. Everything you will be maintaining from here. So if you see policies, what are the policies you want to insert? Commit author email validation. If you want to check in, it will check it. Case info. So like that you can set the branch policies. So this is my main branch. If you want to set any branch policies, require a minimum number of reviewers. If you see to push this main branch, as of now you don't have anything. That's why it is up. So suppose if you set minimum two number of reviewers, if you make that one. So unless two people upload from your organization who has access to this repo, it won't make it. Check for linked work items, encourage traceability. So it has to treat required optional. Check for comment resolution required. Limit merge types, basic merge, smash merge. Like this we can do validate. So right now we don't have any build, but in general we will have the build pipeline as well whenever we raise the PR. So I just save these changes. I will try to create one more PR so you will easily understand. So I'm creating one more branch, user bench. So right now I'm using the main branch only. Now if you see, I just switch to my branches here, manage branches, get the latest fetch. So you can do the right click and you can do the fetch. Now I got the newly created branch as well to my local. I need to do this is my case plugin tool spin. So suppose I'm assuming I made some other change, I changed some logic for my base files. So here I want to have some logic instead of this date time now I want to keep something else. I made some logic. Okay, min value, max value. So oh, sorry. If I keep max value, it will hit the sorry. If I keep min value, max value now today, so it will give us different count of output. Right? So I'm just changing it. Okay. What will happen? I want to make this. I want to push these changes. Some logic change I made. I did it. So I want to push it right. So I'm doing the staging because I have dirty changes. If you don't have any data changes, you can select all and you can directly sync it. So as I have data changes, I'm just doing the staging. So logic updated for commit stage ranking. So this change will go to my Azure DevOps. Now what I want to do now, I want to raise a PR, right? So whenever you made any changes, you will get a kind of alert here. So whether you updated recently just now, create a pull request, create a pull request. Now here if I want to now I have to create a PR. So what will happen? See work items. If you see earlier we don't have any conditions for the PRs. Now it is asking at least two reviewers must approve, work item must be linked. So if you see in the left hand side, you have the work items. What is the work item you have to link? So let's go to our boards. We have some market, some user story is here. Let's copy this one number. You have to, if you search here, you will be getting the number here. Now that will gone. Then what do we have? At least two reviewers approve. So now assume I'm approving. So even though I approved it, if I try to complete it, zero of two reviewers approved because as I raised the PR, it won't consider my approval. It has some other login user must log into this repo and they should do the complete. Then only it will be able to complete. So while completing the request, what you want to do? Complete the associated work item software merging. So the status of this work item will be merged. It will mark as closed like that. Delete user branch one, delete user one. We do that, but we don't do all this. We will simply uncheck everything and merge fast forward only we will do. Okay, so this is how we will be raising the PRs, and so whenever we are having raising PR, right now we have only work item and comment must be resolved. But in general, we will have the pipelines also. The pipeline build should be succeeded for that PR, then only you can check in. So within that pipeline, you will have the different kind of operations you will be doing. You will be validating your class library changes. You will be doing the crit scan. You will be validating the some Power Platform deployment also you will be doing in that pipeline. So this is how we will be doing or anything. So and if you have some tags, right? So these are basically tags to maintain the high segregation for the pull request and everything. So if you see here pull request, you have it was asking for tag, right? So you can just classify this. If you want to create new tag also, you can create it from here. So suppose for each sprint you want to create any tag for June sprint. And now what will happen while raising the PR? You can link this tag to make a segregate to is it groomed or completed, like that you can create different tags. Okay, so like this. So this is all about Azure repository. So mainly it will be used for maintaining source code from the IDE. So we will be doing the branchings, we will be doing the PRs. You can see the who you are committed to which branch. So if you can choose the branch, whatever the branch, what are the commits happen on this one, logic updated, who whenever you have this kind of thing, like this you can see all those stuff. You can see the pushes, what happened from this, like this. Everything you can do it from here. You can see the entire team branches here. Suppose if you want to create any new branch, you will be creating from here, and you will be choosing the what is the source branch, like that. Now if you see, come back to this repo. Suppose if you want to create a new repo, assume you have the proper permissions. Now you want to create a repository. So here repository type you will be using Git for Azure DevOps. So Git control will be used for Azure DevOps, versioning everything. So what is the repository name you want to have it? So assume this is the CRM project, right? So suppose I have the same for the integration. I want to have different repo for Azure integrations. So I'm creating Azure integrations, and here I'm just add readme. You can add it or you can uncheck it. That's fine. Now here, what kind of language you want to use? This is also optional. If you don't choose anything, also that's fine. Just click on it. So once you click on it, by default, it will have the basic repo. Nothing you will have. Now if you see here, I have the D6 Azure integration. So in the Azure integration, I just created, right? So it won't have anything. It doesn't have anything, files, anything. It won't have any. If you click on anything, it will Azure integration is empty. Add some code. Whatever you're trying to do, it will get the empty only because you just created the repo. You have nothing added. So to make it initialize this repo, you can just use this initialize main branch and readme git ignore code. So what will happen whenever you do this from in Azure DevOps? Suppose you want to create a from fresh repository. So in that scenario, you want to initialize main branch with the readme ignore code. Suppose you have a local repo, but you want to check in for the first time. You want to push it for Azure DevOps for the version. So that time you will be using the import. Okay. Now if you see, I'm just initializing as there is no Azure integration repository code for me. So whenever you do this one, it will create files now. README file created. So this is the basic file it has. So on top of it, if you want to have any code, then what you have to do, you have to clone it to your repo local, as what we did in the first beginning. We have to clone it to local, then it will open in the IDE, then you have to add your code and you have to push it. So that's how it will work. So if you want, mostly you will be working on the already existing repositories because you won't be creating any new repositories. But if you want to create a new repositories and make it sync also, this is how we will do. We will be creating the initialize, then we will have the it in the local IDE, then we will add our all our projects, CS projects or any projects you will be adding to here in the local, then you will be pushing it. So this is how we will be using Azure repositories for the maintaining source code. Any questions? So you will be for in this repo you will be maintaining the JavaScript files, you will be maintaining the plugin files, C# files, console application, everything you will be having. It's not like it will work for only C#. You can check in for JS, you can check in for the TypeScript. It will support all languages. Now if you see, this is major integrations. It is empty. So if you want to create a new project on top of it, what you will do? You will just add a new project, new folder from here, new project, existing project if you have it local. So you will be choosing the project type, what you want to add your thing. Like that you will be pushing. So this is how we will be leveraging the Azure repository for the code check-ins and maintaining the branches. Okay. I think we have covered the all important one. Okay then. Thank you.